And we are live.
Yay.
Uh, before we get into the official chat here with our guest today, Angela, the traveling crafter, I did want to. What is that sound? I did want to say a couple of things before we begin. Can you hear that feedback at your end?
Mm-mm.
I wonder, but if Carol's mic is muted, shouldn't be her either, should it?
Mm-mm. I don't hear anything.
It's like chipmunks talking.
Or
Alvin and
squirrels.
the crew. Alvin and the crew. Okay, so a couple of things. New subscribers may or may not know that we are grain farmers in rural Alberta, Canada, Western Canada. And if you have been praying for me and other farmers for a good, safe, productive harvest, thank you so much. It appears to be working. Yay. Fingers crossed. And, just remember, have you hugged a farmer today? Because I think, I know that in the past when I've talked about being a farmer, people have said, oh, not enough people understand the whole food chain thing. Yay. So I do drive a combine. I'm glad that there is a break in the harvest so that I'm able to be here today and not, I didn't want September to be a write-off. So glad for that. I also want to say that based on the conversation from last week where, I was trying unsuccessfully to make clickable links in the chat for some of the new people and the new channels that we want to support. Since then, I've asked Carol from Crinkle Path and Teresa DeFredo, aka my agent and Smartass Buddy, to be moderators. So because I'm using the free version of StreamYard, if things go according to plan, Teresa will be moderating comments in YouTube. Carol will be moderating comments in StreamYard. Hopefully nothing will get missed. And I would also encourage, and I'll say this probably a few times through the course of the next hour and a half, that if you are here, you have a new channel or you have a channel that others may need to be aware of, by all means, say so, and we will certainly throw some love your way. Okay. I've said that I'm a farmer and that I drive a combine. Combining is much like ironing. You know, one of those things you love to tease me about, Angela?
Yeah.
It's very good in that it's a meditative activity that gives a person time to think. So as I was thinking about this upcoming interview, I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, this woman has put herself out there quite a bit. Like, you don't keep much to yourself. So a lot of people know a lot of stuff about you. How are we going to make this value added for people in the chat or watching the replay who already know as much as or more than I do about you? Let me just rattle off a few things here. I don't know if I have enough fingers. There's Dave, love of your life, and a keeper, from what I can tell. Mother to a couple of kids and a couple of step kids. Demi is obviously the apple of your eye. You've got a channel. You're the creator of Maker's Market. You love to thrift. You love to sell. You have OCD. You like mice. Go figure. You like to tease some people about ironing. What else have I got here? You're not afraid of color. You've worked in the airline industry. You have investment properties. You love rodeo. And maybe that's all. Oh, and you love traveling, hence the name. So my goal here, the challenge for me, is to have this interview go in such a way that we scratch beyond what people already know. So you're up for that, right?
I'm absolutely in.
Okay, good. Um, so maybe let's start at the beginning. I'm assuming that you were an artsy, crafty kid, but we know that not every artsy, crafty kid ends up with a YouTube channel. So talk about how old your channel is and how you made the plunge from being a crafty person to having a YouTube channel.
So I had to look this up. I had to do my own research about myself because I'm like, I don't know how long I've had a channel. Uh, but what I learned is I just had a 7-year anniversary, but that doesn't really mean anything because I had that channel back when my kids were much younger and I would just privately make something and then share it with my family. So it's really not that big of an anniversary. I think really when I started my channel has been about 4 years. And I worked for a major insurance company after the airlines. And in both positions, I was in a leadership role where I actually was a public speaker and I taught people to do public speaking and sales and marketing and those kind of things, leadership development. And so when we were all staying at home, hanging out with ourselves, I was like, well, this is not going to work for me. I had quit my corporate job to work hand in hand with Dave, doing houses, working in our office. And I was like, I'm going to lose my ever living mind if I don't have some kind of way to feel like I'm connecting with people. So I actually started, I developed classes on Kajabi, and it was all about mindfulness, about the neuroscience behind happiness, and the different ways in which you could increase your dopamine, your serotonin, and all of those things. One of those things was journaling, which most people, and you probably know this, I'm consistently inconsistent. So journaling is never probably going to be a habit. It was something I would do once in a while when the spirit moved me or, things like that. But I knew it was helpful in, gratitudes and those kind of things. And after a while, I mean, it took me probably 2 months to develop one course. And I had people participate and people paid me for it. And that was all fine and good. But when you're in a situation like lockdown and you can't get out there and share that you have this opportunity, and I couldn't really use my marketing and sales skills in a traditional way, I was like, well, I got to come up with something else because my kids and my husband will appreciate me much more if I have something that's keeping me busy during the day. Otherwise, they probably would have killed me. And that's when I decided, what the heck? I've already developed these classes. Why not just start a YouTube? I've got the YouTube channel. I've got everything set up. I can start recording these things on my phone. And if they really suck, that's fine. I don't have to produce them. And that's what I did. And so I produced a couple that no one ever saw. And I was like, oh Lord, help me. Cause I'm once and done. Like once I've done it, I do not want to watch myself again. I do my very best not to have to edit. Because listening to myself over and over, I'm like, and there were some doozies. And I would say, like, if somebody's going to start a channel, go back and watch, a small channel like mine, go back and watch the biggest creators, whether it's Mr. Beast or, somebody who's an artist that's been around and has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and watch their first videos. Because we got to start somewhere, right? And
yeah.
the funniest thing, I think I've hidden most of them, but there's probably a couple of them out there. I did not know how to say ephemera. See, I told you I'm an open book. I think I said ephemera. I don't know, but I called it that for like the longest time. Did I bother to do my research on how you said it? No, I didn't. I just said it. And I put those out on YouTube. So there's that.
Okay, I think the homework for everyone in the chat is to go find some of those early blooper videos and see what's what. I do want to, because I plunged right in, I did not say hello to people who are here. So let me just thank, of course, Carol and Teresa, Lori. Let me go back to the beginning. Hope, Susie. Now I just got a name to go with Happy Place Crafting. So that's Beth. Welcome, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Denise Gardner is here. Thank you, Denise. Susan is here from I Turtly Love It. And of course, Mama, Juju, April, we'll count her as 3 people, is here as well. So great to have you guys all here for the time being. Oh, and even Carrie is making an appearance. Of course, you always have the option, if you can't make the live, to watch the replay. So let's just go on. I think now, whether you knew it or not, you called yourself a small channel. I think by most standards of the people, me, the people in the chat, the people that I know are watching these videos, you're not a small channel. You have a very nice number of subscribers. And I, of course, am going to dig into that. And I'll tell you the reason why. When I interviewed Darcy from Darcy's Mixed Media, I think she's around 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers. And of course, those of us who are still, struggling to get those numbers, we feel a certain, level of frustration and, eye rolling that it's taking so long and blah, blah, blah. Well, Darcy's answer to that was that she was fortunate. She saw a spike in her subscribers when Barbara, yes, Barbara from 49 Dragonflies in Austria gave her a channel shout out. So tell us the secret. How did you get this huge bump in your subscribers? Was it some pivotal video that you had done? Like, you can't keep this a secret. Tell us how.
Well, I honestly really don't know how, and I can't agree more. And I would say that first 1,000 subscribers, it took me a very, very long time to get to that first 1,000. And I was like, Angela, get up every day, you do a video and you put it out there and you stop looking at those numbers and you just keep going. And at about, I think it was around like 5,000 subscribers, after I hit that, it just slowly continued to grow. I did some videos. I had a Sewing Notion Sunday that I would do on a regular basis. And I had one that was titled unique ways to use sewing patterns. And that went crazy. And from that point, that's the only thing I can contribute it to. But I was starting to see that YouTube must have been pushing that and other videos out, because what I was seeing in my results was I was getting a whole lot of subscribers from a lot of other countries that I had never had before. And I was like, well, this really isn't quite adding up. So while I do have a very good number of followers, the number of folks that are consistently watching that are subscribers are about even. Like about 50-50 are subscribed and 50% are not. And so I don't have a secret recipe. I do not know. I do know that our live sale videos seem to spike folks, although they're not necessarily always watching them live. The more consistent I am, I was posting, I should have looked before, but I think it might be close to 1,200 videos, because I was posting every single day until the last year, when, life's just gotten busy. So
Yeah.
consistency, I think, was key. But you know, I don't have an answer for that. I just know that I do have those key subscribers that are always here and that are always watching and that are always commenting. So that means more to me than anything else, actually. So
I'm bitterly disappointed because that's like asking somebody, how did you lose the weight? And they say, oh, I ate less and I exercised more. So that's the same sort of answer. Be consistent, provide unique content.
mhm.
So you're
And
saying there's no shortcut.
no, and you know what? That consistency does not mean having to post a video every single day. If you do once a month, then do it once a month. And
Yes.
perhaps do it that same day every month. If it's 3 days a week, do it 3 days a week. Because
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience, I have seen a huge drop in the number of consistent subscribers every day because I have not been posting my videos. Have I been doing videos? Absolutely. Have I had the time to upload them and do thumbnails and all the stuff that goes behind it? No. So consistency is absolutely key.
Well, yeah, you're preaching to the converted there because I've always used the analogy of, if you're opening a beauty salon and you're saying that you're open from Tuesday to Saturday from 9 to 5, then damn it, be there Tuesday to Saturday, 9 to 5. I can't tell you how many times when we had our bricks and mortar store, someone would walk into our store and say, why isn't the hairdresser open? And in a small town, we're kind of expected to know this stuff, but it gets old after a while, and it's hard for you've got to be there. And in the beginning, I often felt that I was probably talking to myself, to be honest. But it's like you say, it's a matter of showing up and being there, and trusting in the process that eventually the right people and the right number of people are going to find us.
Mhm. And
And not only find us, but resonate with what we're doing. Because I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and neither are you,
right.
so it's just reality.
Yeah, I'm not for everybody. And that's okay. And as I diversify my channel, there might be more that don't like it. But you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm gonna do what drives my bus. And if that means that I'm gonna do videos about me staging a house or me or Dave and I going to Aldi and picking out our favorite things, then I'm gonna do that. You don't have to watch it. Watch what you choose to watch. Um,
Yeah.
say that that is a detriment, like start another channel if you want to do all these shopping sprees or if you want to, flip houses. um I've went back and forth a million times, and my feeling is I have my friends here, and my friends have become my family, and they do care about what I'm doing when I'm not doing a video. Whether they
Mhm.
choose to watch it or not is fine, but they do care. And
Yeah.
so when I mention something, they're like, well, what is she talking about? They can go watch it. For everybody else that says, oh my gosh, now she's doing this video, you don't have to watch. But the people that I call my friends here on my channel are the ones that I know will actually understand and want to know this. And as Carrie says, she's like, well, I'm Snoopy. I want to know what you're doing,
Yeah. I just want to acknowledge Chiquita's Crochet and Peony Lane Photo Art. Do you know Peony Lane?
She birthed me.
Oh.
My
Oh,
mom.
okay. So, well, welcome, Mom. Okay, so let's just carry on a bit more. Knowing again that we want to scratch beyond the surface of what's sort of commonly known. Um, Now, obviously, in order to have a second husband and stepchildren, you've been married twice. So, was it death or divorce that ended the first marriage?
Oh no, it was divorce. I was like, where are you going with this, girl?
No, well, it's one thing or the other typically that ends a marriage.
Yeah.
Either one partner dies or it's a divorce.
Yeah, no, it was,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, were you ever at any point the quintessential single mother? Like being responsible, having sole responsibility for parenting and for putting food on the table? Sole breadwinner?
Well, yeah. So as soon as we were divorced, actually, as we were going through our divorce, I had always wanted to build a house. And so, when things suck, you just are like, well, I'm going to do the best thing I can and I'm going to make this happen. And for my kids, I'm going to do what I wanted to do, provide for them and give them a home. So the three of us, Demi, Landon, and myself, actually designed the house with our builders, built the house together. It was really a cool experience. And it was also a very scary experience because, I was working full time. I also, because of my job, I traveled a lot. So I had a lot of family that helped, my sister, my mom, my dad. Uh, they were very, very involved in all of that. But, it allowed me to provide the home that we live in now. And um, I'm really proud of that. And the kids are proud of it, that they got to do
Yeah.
that with. And I think it probably catapulted us into this isn't a horrible situation, this huge change that we're all going through. It's a blessing. So,
Yeah. How old were the kids?
I think Landon would have been, I think Demi was 6 and Landon was 8.
Oh, little guys.
Yeah.
So, so when you're forced to face sort of a life-altering event like that, so you've got these kids to raise, you're working full time. Did the crafting and the creativity and the artistic side, out of necessity, have to take a back seat and get
Yeah.
put on hold?
Yeah. Actually, I think when I was going through my divorce, which was a pretty long, I mean, it was almost, things kind of started to hit the skids about 2.5 years before. So you have farmer talk here, Hazel. You
Yeah.
totally get what I'm saying.
I
Um,
love real people talking using real words.
probably about 2.5 years before. And I was I mean, when the kids graduated, we had like scrapbook after scrapbook, and they were very detailed. And, my mom and I would go to scrapbook retreats, and I was really into it. But that 2.5 years, and until probably, well, honestly, until long after Dave and I were together, and then we actually finished my basement and I had a craft room, all of it stayed in boxes. So probably a good 5 years, I didn't craft at all.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
And so do you well, again, it's like I sometimes liken life to that whack-a-mole game, where those creatures are coming out of that machine and you have a mallet and you have to hit them as they stick their heads out. When life is a whack-a-mole game, you probably didn't even realize what you were missing by not scratching the creative itch because you had far more important things to be concerned about. But
Right.
in hindsight, isn't that kind of amazing when you hear yourself say it? 5 years without crafting?
Well, and I guess I should
Like,
say 5 years without being in like a studio with all of my things around me doing whatever I feel like doing.
yeah.
Um, I would say, my creative side was coming out because I was upcycling furniture. My mom and I were shopping and, finding things that would go into the house. I was designing my rooms. So I had a
Okay.
creative outlet. I just
Yes.
didn't have my pens, my markers, my paints, and, all of the other things.
Yeah.
I just had to find a different
Yeah. Well,
out-
that's a good point. because that too is a very intensive and creative process, you know, decorating a house. So that's probably what lets you hang on to your sanity.
Right.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, sometimes, and if you've watched a number of these heart to heart episodes, you know that we talk about a variety of things, and frankly, having to be, you know, sole caregiver, breadwinner, that kind of thing, and going through big life events is part of the shared experience out there. So I'm glad you were willing to talk about that. Um, Now you did, I know that we have at least a couple of things in common in terms of our channel and content. And I want to hear your take on it. I know in a sense what you're going to say because I think we've ranted in private about them. 100-day project. Tell us your real feelings about doing that.
Um, if someone put something to my head and said you need to do this or else, I probably would do it again. But you know, ignorance is bliss. When you get into it, you're like, oh, 100 days, that's no problem. Oh my Lord. I would, no. And, I, you know, I just was a total sucker. It was hashtag, 100-day challenge ATH, which was around the house. And I literally was like, I'm not picking these things. So I went to Chat GPT and I got a list of 100 different items from around the house. And I used those 100 items. Yeah, no, I need a little more control. I need a little more control than that. The sugar, the pixie stick thing, that pushed me right over the edge. Like, I'm like, oh my.
Yeah. Well, I did the 100-day project too, and I think I found it, well, a challenge, but I was also pretty proud of myself that I did it. Like you know, I didn't cut corners, I didn't quit. You know, so you know, that's a little pat on the back moment. I didn't make it as difficult as you made yours. But what I think I did wrong was I didn't sort of expand into the future and see, well, what time period in my real life is this going to cover, these 100 days? Because of course, yes, we can pre-tape and so on. Um, I think I would do it again, but I would do it at a time that is a quieter time of year, you know, the dead of winter. Like it shouldn't flow into gardening season or spring,
Right,
I don't think.
right.
Um,
But I would,
so
oh, I'm sorry.
you're not slamming the door on doing another one, but it's not on your top 10 list of things to do.
No, no. And I would say that, um, for those that don't know what a 100-day project is, it's just doing something for 100 days, whether it's doing journal cards for 100 days. I chose to do something different every day, which was like mind blowing. But what I didn't like about it is I was already doing a video every day. And now I was forced to do whatever it said on that piece of paper. And my mind just does not work. I want that creative. I want to be able to walk in my,
Freedom.
I don't want to have
Yeah.
to go find pixie sticks and use sugar for an activity, or, you know, how many rubber bands can I use in it? Yeah. So that was my challenge.
So you mean to say that you predetermined what you were going to do on day 48 or day 62?
Well, yeah, I
And
just
you
took
had to,
that list and I just went, okay, that's my 100 and I'm doing them right in order. And I did.
okay, well, I imagine there were some life lessons learned through that experience.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
dear.
yeah, it's kind of like, you know, I'm very much, and I've taught myself, at least in my craft room, to be a little bit better at it. But I'm very much, when I start a project, I want to finish it. And so there was no turning back. And I couldn't let all of the people who were watching every day, because some of them were pretty funny because they were so bad. Because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just got the things and started, you know, playing with them. But um, I knew that I committed. I said it out loud, and I could not turn back. I
Yeah,
had to fix that. So I
yeah.
did.
I just want to say hi to Terry. Our McMouse Terry is here. And Chiquita's Crochet is saying, imagine building your stash, 100-day projects. Now she says, I saw that 100-day project, but did not dare, but she may try at one of these days. So, you know what? I don't, I, just because we're sharing a little, having a little shared frustration here, we certainly don't want to discourage anyone from trying. I
No,
think the definite plus side was the discipline. And let's face it, quite often we fall into the habit of taking the easy way out, doing the things we love the most, avoiding the things that we either aren't as good at, don't have experience with, whatever, whatever. But by over the course of 100 days, a person is forced to dig a little deeper, try a little harder,
yeah,
and because again, we don't want to be failures, and we don't want to disappoint our viewers. So if you need some structure, some discipline, some impetus to get into your craft room regularly, a 100-day project is the perfect thing to do.
right.
Um, and Trish from Crafting Whimsy is here as well. So hi, Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Um, Now, the other thing that I know that we have compared notes on is the damn cinch machine. I know that mine is now 3 years old. I have had it out of the box. I still haven't done a damn thing with it.
Good
You at
job.
least have. You have. I think we have Carrie the Paper Monkey as our role model in um, or her attempts to make us believe that it's easier than it looks, it's so versatile, blah, blah, blah. So you want to just maybe talk a bit about what made you finally take yours out of the box, use it, and have you ever returned to it since that first time?
Yeah. Well, Carrie and I had some conversations. She's like, just get it out. It's not that hard. And I had it in the box. I bought it at a thrift store. Somebody else didn't take it out of the box. And
Tale.
and it sat in my craft room for over a year. And she had done some videos, and she's like, Angela, you can do this. And so she did, a little tutorial. And I said to her before, I'm like, I watched a couple videos of people using those things, and I was like, no, like I wanted to come over and touch the cinch for this person doing this video, because I was like, I can't watch it. So she kind of made me feel better, and then she was like, you can do this, you can do it. So I just busted it out, and I'm like, well, what's it gonna hurt? It's paper, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And so I did one, and then I was like, well, if I want to get really good at this, I'm looking because that's where I used to store them, 8 or 10. I just got them all ready, and I did them all because I thought by the time I
Yeah.
do 8 or 10, I'll be at least adequate. And I was, and I have busted it out a lot. So I'm telling you, do it. You like
You're a
you.
believer.
I'm a believer.
Well, okay, and just to understand your process, did you make a prototype before you turned the camera on, or did you learn like down and dirty with the camera rolling?
No, I think I did. I think I did a prototype. At least I punched the pages and made sure I like knew the steps to do it. I think I did. I don't remember if I did it on camera or if I could have winged it, because that wouldn't surprise me if I did, but I just remember thinking, okay, well, this is ridiculous. Why didn't I do this a long time ago? So yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Trisha's saying, oh my goodness, Hazel, the cinch isn't that tricky. I got a mini on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and it's kind of fun to make the little albums and notebooks. Like Angela said, it's just paper. Okay, okay, okay. I have actually but of course, there's so many things I can't focus on until after harvest, until a crop is in the bin. I do have, I'll show you the cover because this will be my commitment. This
She's
is
saying it
what,
out loud, friends.
whoops, it's a kid's book. I have the papers ready. I have to get the coil, and one of these days I'll be doing a video. So pray for me. Pray for me.
One of the things, last Sunday, I'm sure you were in the field, but last Sunday, Tracy Nanner Banana or Carrie and I did a little video doing playing cards.
Okay,
And
yeah.
one of the things, and I, Carrie said, I'll do the cinch. I'll show how to use it. And I said, that is a very good way to start, is with just a playing card or an index card size journal. If you're going to
Yeah.
play cinch, because, or any kind of journal, that you want to make, because
Yeah.
I think
So
that
tiny.
yeah, it's tiny, it doesn't take a lot of work to get a few pages together. So,
Yeah. Carol is saying that her daughter and her works for the same district, and she cinched books for her class, or that Carol cinched books for her class when she was on light duty after shoulder surgery. So apparently there are a lot of people who have used it and lived to talk about it. So I will join your numbers, I promise. I have my inbox lately, in my Gmail account has been comprised a lot of reminders and prompts, um and I'm just wondering, am I the only person out there who has bought a course, subscribed to something, put down cold hard cash, and then not actually done it?
no, you were not. No, or subscribe to
You
something.
have a confession to make?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And mine probably isn't necessarily, I feel like I'm a lifelong learner, so I love to continue to learn. But I haven't bought a lot of courses, but I have bought a lot of tools or resources to make my job easier to create content or put on social media. So, whatever it is, I think we've all got that thing, right?
Yeah. Uh, I've, I don't, you haven't done much slow stitching, have you? Or have you done any?
I have not, I don't think I've done any on camera. I've done a lot. I do punch needle, and I like to do slow stitching, but that's usually
Yeah.
like that's an airplane thing for me.
Yeah. There was this moment where I thought, I'm getting so much enjoyment out of doing this slow stitching. Why don't I why don't I buy this course called Zen Stitching? Well, I'm sure the first whole period is over. Now, and of course, I always upgrade to the lifetime
Well, you know
access
what?
thing.
I was told once that if they have a lifetime membership, that is what you signed up for. This was from a 65-year-old
Yeah.
lady I worked with at the airline. So kudos to you for doing it that way.
Well, yes, I spent more money and did nothing so far, but I keep getting these reminder emails. I'm thinking one of these days I'm opening that up and I'm doing it. And oh, Carol is saying, how about buying digitals and not printing them? Yeah, that's another good one.
There you go.
Oh, and not Teresa, Caroline on the hillside is here. So thanks for joining us. She's
Hi,
also a
Caroline.
former guest, of course, so heart to heart. So I don't know, maybe it almost seems that no matter how old we get, it's a case of figuring out what works for our particular brain, mindset, operation, because you'd think by now we would have made all the mistakes and would avoid making the same one over and over again. So, do you continue to buy, if not courses, but tools and so on? Like, have you done that recently? What's the most recent thing you bought and haven't used yet? Or
I
are you way beyond that?
no, 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 no. I wouldn't say that. I like bright, shiny objects, just like the rest of us, right? And when you see
Yeah.
something, you're like, "Ooh, that's great." Um, I don't buy a ton of tools anymore, and I like from a social media perspective, and I am work smarter, not harder. So I always think in my head that that one app or that one program or that whatever it might be that can streamline things. Um, I haven't done that in a while, but I have done. I'm trying to think what's something that I bought. You know what? My family's probably on here somewhere. They're like, "Wait, mom," I'm typing in. Oh, she bought this. She bought that. Um, I try to use most of the things. I do have a tool that I have never used, and I a long time ago, Pam Vanny and I did a thing called dusted off do overs, and so I was pulling literally in my lazy Susan where all my tools were. It was all they were all covered in dust. They had not been used, like a laminator, and I had a bookbinding system, and that was really fun to get all of those things out. Well, I still have something in there. Um, and it's actually like a little wheel that gets hot and it like you use it on cellophane and you can make bags and stuff.
Oh, that sounds like a good thing to
I
rush
know.
off and
So
buy.
and see, so I some of my friends that are on here are like I was saying I somebody was enabling me to, buy something and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're the biggest enabler of all of us," like but this I think I need to bust it out because I have in the past, I've seen things that people have made with them, and I'm like, that I could actually do, and it would be fun. But it's
Yeah.
still, I don't even think I've taken it out of the package. It's still in the Lazy Susan.
Okay, there's some really funny stuff going on in the chat. So I just want to say this. I mean, bring these to your attention. Um, okay, so Teresa, of course, we know has packed away her craft room, and she's found that she doesn't need a lot of the stuff that she thought she did.
Mhm.
And then I believe it was Trish that said, I agree with you, Teresa. I'm trying to have a no spend September because I have too much stuff. And of course, this is a recurring theme here at Heart to Heart. Um, then Denise says, how about buying stuff and then donating it, or better, buying it back? Please, someone say I'm not alone. That's
You're like, why did I
priceless.
get
And
rid of
then
that?
get this. Teresa says, Denise, I donated a plaque I had decoupaged. Later, I was shopping and thought, that is cute. Wait, I made that. My God. Uh,
Oh, that's priceless.
that
Mm.
is awesome. Um, okay, Denise, I may not have been known to donate an item and then purchase it back again. Oh yeah, well, honestly I can see it happening. I do want to also acknowledge Vicky
Hi, Vicky.
W. O'Sullivan. Do you know Vicky?
I do. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky. Nice to have you here. I think that's hilarious. And I'm sorry, we're laughing with you, not at you. Anybody who feels, I've never used something. Oh, Teresa says, or I mean, sorry, Trish says, oh my, Teresa, I've never not used something I've purchased, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. Do have too many stamps and ink pads though. So it looks like maybe we've hit a nerve there.
I will say
Oh,
though. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. Chiquita sent a box to a friend who can't afford crafty material. Both are low income people. So that obviously is a good
Great
way
idea.
to deal with the issue.
I will have to
What were you going to say?
well, a couple of things to make all of us feel better a little bit. Um, I think it was Teresa who said, now that her craft room is put away, less is more. And I will say that uh, when I'm traveling, when I'm at the lake and I need to wind down, and I have like it looks like like a pilot would carry, you know, a case with a flap that pulls up and it's got just the basics in it. And now I've just left it up there, but that's what I usually travel with when we're on the road. Having less items makes me way more creative. Like, don't give me the
Yes.
tool. I got to figure out how to do a hole punch when I don't have one, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing is that's helped me. And now I do live sales. So I have and I have the makers market. So I have an avenue to get to declutter, but you know, that's part of the OCD side of me that is compensating some of the squirrel side of me, you know, right? But I literally declutter almost every 3 months. My craft room. Now, all the stuff that needs to be sold just has to take time, right? But if I haven't used it, I will get rid of it. I'm not a person that has to keep it forever. I do like sentimental things sometimes, but get rid of it. You'll find it again, or you'll go back to the store and rebuy it if you absolutely need it, right? But
Yeah.
it's okay to get rid of things, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's no surprise to anyone who knows you that you love thrifting. So, and this is probably an unfair question in the sense, but does one thing come to your mind where you think this is the absolute best score I have ever made? I cannot believe my luck.
Yes. And it has nothing to do with art supplies.
Oh,
Um, it was on the 141, the yard sale that goes across the state of Iowa. And we hadn't even left. It was our first stop out of the gate. I made Dave leave at 7:30 in the morning. He was not happy about it. The first yard sale that we stopped at was not the best thing, but I got an entire box of library card envelopes and library cards from that they had at a church. And so I got that. That was great. I was like, ooh, we're on a roll. And we went to this, it was like almost like an estate sale. The mom was getting rid of everything. She had a big farm and she had garbage bags full of aluminum trees, one of which was gold. And
oh,
I do like my kitschy, you know, 50s and 60s stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, you know, stop the door, give me a Depends. I'm gonna wet my pants, like I need this, you know. So I walked up to the lady and I'm like, you know, how much is this? And she's like, oh well, you have to take them all. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, how, you know, $1,000, how much are we talking? She goes, $50. I go, they're mine. I'll take them. And I was like, I go, do not say anything, Dave. I said, get those in the car and keep loading up the rest of the stuff. I said, do not ask questions. I started sweating. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. So the number one thing, and the gold one I really wanted to keep, but I ended up selling it, and I was very, very excited about it. Paid for 3 years or 4 years of me going on that yard sale. So that was that will go down in history.
unreal.
Mm.
Well, okay. So, because we like to deal in reality here as well, and it's not, life isn't just unicorns and rainbows.
Right.
Give us an example of a time that you really felt like you got burnt, that you thought, oh, like you had buyer's remorse and you thought, this is the worst thing ever.
Well, I can rationalize myself right out of it, so that's going to be hard for me to remember. Um, oh gosh, something I really regret buying. I'm trying to think something like something artistic. I think it's been more like little things that maybe I didn't pay quite enough attention to. Like, should I have tested this before I bought it? Or, um,
Yeah,
you know, those kind of things. It'd be more frequent but small. Maybe not anything
yeah.
too large, I don't
Yeah.
think.
But although those, those misspent dollars have a way of adding up as well.
They sure do.
You
But
know,
let me tell you, you know, I'll justify it I'll do girl math
yeah,
and then you feel better.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
I have begun sniffing things because I hate the smell of mildew or smoke. And it's almost impossible to get rid of those smells out of paper. And, I was once told by a medical specialist, if you have a certain condition, and if the medical community gives you three or four or five options for a way to treat it, you know damn well that none of them work perfectly. It's like if you're diabetic, okay, insulin, easy breezy. We're not doing IF Newt or whatever else. One problem, one solution. So when you hear that there are half a dozen ways that people try to get the smell out of something, you know that none of them work very well. So, do you sniff purchases before you buy them if you can?
I sniff everything. I do not have a problem with it. And I do have some ways that usually works. But see, the things that I like, I will say, this smells like it's vintage or mildew. Like it smells like it because I don't have enough time to put something in this concoction for 2 or 3 months and then bring it to a sale, right? But
Yeah.
I do have things that work. I have a video on it if you want to look at that. But for the first time, I bought. Maybe this is a regret. Um, I bought from an auction, and it was an online auction. Which take your risks. You do online auctions too. You never know. You can't see
Yeah.
it in person. And I think I bought 4 1930s and 40s Monkey Wards and Sears catalogs because I love those images, right? And
Yeah.
so I bid probably more than I should have paid. And I could tell like some little mouse had probably eaten a little bit out of the end of it. I didn't care. I wanted those magazines, those
Yeah.
catalogs.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the smell of the old book mildew doesn't normally bother me. This was bad. They have been in there now for 2 months, and I took them out like 2 weeks ago, and they still smell horrible. And so the only thing I can do is take them out in chunks and like air them out little bits at a time because all that whole catalog
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
little spot with the cat litter and the baking soda and all that stuff, it's too much. It's too concentrated. It's not getting through to those
Yeah.
pages. So, but I'm not throwing those.
Well, and it's such a labor intensive project,
Yeah.
to try to de-stinkify something.
Well, and
Looks
don't you
like
think
this.
so? Don't you think
Sorry.
that the smell you you can't necessarily always smell it like if you're at an estate sale or at an auction house or at a thrift store. You don't smell it until you get it out of your car or you smell your car once you've shut the door and come back to get it and you're like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I know. I did something, an open air garage sale, and I didn't realize the woman was a chain smoker. Um, I think it's funny. Yeah, that seems to have hit a nerve with people. Um, um, this maybe is not right on that topic, but this ties back to when you were talking about the aluminum tree or the metal tree. Chiquita says, when I get something awesome at Goodwill, I go to the cashier immediately and leave the building. Oh dear. It's like that annoying IKEA commercial. Start the car. Start the car.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh, and looks like maybe somebody has misrepresented being a smoker and she's gotten burnt that way. She says she's tossed out all of what she's bought a few times.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because
Teresa,
sometimes when you smell that stuff, you can't smell it when you pick it up, and then it's
yeah.
later on you
Teresa writes, my doctor after allergy testing told me I was allergic to smoke. And I said, isn't everybody? Good point.
do.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, Vicky. Okay, so Vicky is saying ADHD makes it easy for me to leap in before checking details or slowing down. That can be both a strength, I get moving, and a challenge. Things get jumbled or missed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we've all had that little rise in heart rate when we think, "Oh my God, this is too good to be true. I'm so
Yeah.
lucky," you know.
You're getting that dopamine hit and right.
Yeah, that little rush. On
Mhm.
the subject of catalogs, it's interesting. I just did spend a pile of
Mhm.
money at an online auction, including something like 17 wish books. So they will be coming on the market,
Be
and
still.
near as I can tell, there are no issues. Um, okay. Let me see what else I have down here that I wanted to get us thinking about. So, I know that my one of the guiding principles of my life is my commitment to lifelong learning. You mentioned that earlier in the video. And so at this point in your life, um, and this could be both your personal life and or your YouTube persona. Um, what is on your wish list or on your to-do list of something to learn? Something that you feel like you either want to take up for the first time or maybe get better at.
Well, I want to conquer the algorithm of YouTube first for all mankind. That would be
You and
my
about how many million other
yes.
people?
And that's my greatest wish. It's something new. So I guess I love trying. I will try anything one time. Minus sky. I'm not going to learn how to skydive. That's not in my realm. Um, but I think something that I would like to, and I shouldn't say that. See, when I say it out loud on in the YouTube world, now all of you guys are going to hold me accountable. But I think after you and Carol and Jonna did like a little crocheting, um, I was like, well, I kind of want my grandma taught me how to knit when I was really little. I have pictures of me just sitting there knitting. I do not remember how to do it, but I think that that would be something that would be really good, whether it be whichever is easiest, crocheting or knitting. I'm not sure which, just to keep my hands, busy. And I'm finding that um, now that like the kids have actually not been coming home every weekend like they did in the last, few years of college. So, and Dave's not here Monday through Thursday. So I think that would be a really good thing for me to learn. Um, and me, I'd probably just go rogue and like, oh, let's just make up a stitch. And, I probably wouldn't make anything, but I would just like be like, oh, this sounds fun. Anything I think to just keep myself busy, especially on those cold winter nights when I'm all alone by myself.
And the snow is 4 feet deep.
Right. Right.
Um, yeah, I find it, and again, it's not my goal to keep tabs on you or keep track of where you are, when you are, and why you are. But I didn't realize that there were these big chunks of time when you were on your own.
Oh, yeah.
So, how are you coping with that? Because, at some point, someone, Teresa or Susie, are going to say, well, you didn't ask her if she's an introvert. So, are you an introvert or not?
Absolutely not. No, 100%
Okay.
extrovert in every single way. Um,
Okay.
yeah, well, and most of my family, no, all of my family would say, and Dave especially would say, you don't know a stranger. By the end of the conversation, you know their entire life story, and you will talk to anybody. And I love that because I love to learn about people. I like to talk to people. It's why I loved being a public speaker and getting to, meet all those new people in every single city I went to. It was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Well, I will talk to anyone as well, but then when I want to be alone, I want to be alone and I need that recharging period. So how, given what you've just said about being an extrovert, how does that tie in with these periods of being alone?
um so first of all, it bring like my family, all of my family is within an hour's radius. Like my sister's 20 minutes away. The kids are only, they're right next to my mom and dad, 10 miles from them. So, 30, 40 minutes for me. So it's not like they're 100, thousands of miles away. So, the first month that they were gone, I was like, oh, this is really weird. Like, I've never had that ever.
Yeah.
Because once the kids were about 14, they really didn't spend much time at their dad's. They were just at my house. So, that was a huge, huge change. But the way I compensated was I'm very, very goal oriented about things I get done, and I have to, and I hyper focus on those things. Like, this is what my to do list says. I need to get it done, and I'm just gonna, put my blinders on and get it done. So doing videos where I thought I was talking to all of you, even though it was just me sitting in the room with my dog. Um, get checking boxes, getting things done, cleaning. That's one of my coping mechanisms. Is when if I'm stressed, if I'm anxious, if I'm lonely, I will clean and organize something. So
You poor dear.
I feel much better after I do it.
Um, yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, not surprised at that. I'm surprised that you use the term hyper focus, because just through the course of these last or several last interviews, I've heard people talk about that, and that does seem to be one aspect or one excuse me, one s- I don't know, not symptom necessarily of ADHD. It seems that, people, there's either the, ant, what I describe, ants in your pants, can't sit still, versus the blinders on, hyper focused on whatever, and not being able to tear your interest away from that to something else. So I continue to find that fascinating, because um it's so different from how I think. But well, I mean, that's good. Um that you found ways that work for you
Right.
to get over, see, I've always felt that I would never be lonely, because I have many interests and um so many things I want to do, learn, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
that, where is the void? There is no void
Right.
as far as
Right.
that goes.
Well,
So I find excuse me, I find that interesting. Um
okay, so one thing I probably should say about that is, I would be gone 2 or 3 weeks traveling, uh, almost all my adult life. So I was very used to being by myself, and I think that that helped,
yeah.
with the whole thing. But I also think, just to kind of put a bow on it, is that OCD thing, that I don't know that that's an innate. I don't know that that's something innate. I think that might be learned, because I needed something to compensate for me not being focused. Do you know what I mean? So, and I used to say, you have taken 150 personality tests and in your lifetime. I have too. The Myers-Briggs and every single one. And I remember saying, this is where I have always said I'm consistently inconsistent, because I'm like, I don't understand it, because I am all over the board sometimes, but yet it was like I was equally brained, because part of me was super focused on things, and part of me was just like the creative, and I couldn't figure it out. And they said, you compensate with that tendency to be hyper focused and OCD on things, because you normally can't do that. So you learn to adapt it, and that's the cleaning thing that comes in. And yeah, so I
Mm,
think that that's part of it. So those two things.
yeah, go hand in hand in your case.
Yeah, for me.
um yeah. So did you ever answer the question about what you want to learn? Oh, you
Yeah,
did say about knitting or crocheting.
yeah.
What about on the personal side of your life? Is it like salsa dancing or?
Oh, well, Dave and
Cooking
I actually love,
Italian.
yeah, Dave and I love to dance, and he is a very good dancer. I think if I would learn something, if I wanted to, I don't know if it's learning, I know how to do it, but I think something I'd like to try um, is like doing a long kayak trip, or because he goes to the Boundary Waters every year, and I have yet to go. Totally disconnect, learn how to, like, I want to, my brother dehydrates his all of his their meals when they go, and I just think that would be fun to like really live
Live
off.
off the land.
Yeah, like learn how to do that for maybe 2 days. I don't know, not to do too long.
Yeah, yeah. Can I bring my hair straightener too? Yeah. Well, that's cool. I don't know what the boundary waters are, but it sounds like it's a longer, more involved trip that he takes. So does he go solo or does he go with other men or what?
No, he goes with other people, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
basically boundary waters are the boundaries between Minnesota and maybe other states and Canada. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Okay. Nothing will ever come between us but the boundary waters.
Right, exactly.
Well, that sounds good. Now, I know, like, I think anyone listening to what I rattled off about you at the beginning, listening to the things you've added since then, I think the words Angela and ambition would probably logically kind of go together. And I too have lived that sort of life at points in my life. I've also been caught with my pants down. I've been caught burning the candle at both ends.
Right.
So I think that society tends to think that, oh, ambition, I mean, that's when you've truly made it. You can count, well, in our case, we can count subscribers, we can count uh, income, we can count dollars, we can count sales, we can count, all those tangible, measurable kinds of markers. Um, I'm just curious, at your tender age, have you had the experience of thinking, oh my goodness, this is too much. Um, I need to dial it back. I need to, either nurture myself or, like, I know for the longest time I had trouble saying no to anybody. And I think most women do.
Hmm.
So you say, or in my case, I would say yes because it was a good cause, or I thought I could contribute, or only I could possibly do it. And so all kinds of good reasons. And then all of a sudden, the universe conspires that all those obligations all come together and due on the same day.
Right.
The kids need something to take to school for, the class party, the report is due, the blah, blah, blah. And then you think to yourself, how did I get into this position? And why does this keep happening to me? So, have you at any point in your life experienced that? And or is it something that you guard against happening?
I wish I did. No, yes, it happens a lot, and I too have a hard time saying no. I am learning to balance it a little bit better, and to be more responsible with my time, and saying, for example, uh, dialing back with the whole posting. I was still doing videos because that makes me happy, but I was not posting them because I spend a lot of time on editing. I mean, as you all know that have channels, it takes a lot of time. And when I say editing, I'm talking about doing your thumbnails, doing your descriptions, posting it on Instagram, whatever you have to do. Um, and I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do this. I've got only a little while before my kids go to school. They both want help, getting all their stuff together to go to school. I have two houses that I have to stage, and I have to be also reasonable. Like, what's paying the bills versus what's just a little fun money. And those goals for me on YouTube are important, but not at the detriment of all of the other things or my health, you know? And like Dave and I talked about it, we hadn't been on a like a real vacation for a very long time. So then we committed, we're going to go see our friend in Mississippi and go on these road trips. And um, because we were just working all the time and we
Yeah.
weren't together either. So he was, in Omaha and I was here. And then now he's traveling. So I'm doing a little more traveling. And I've learned just to say it's okay. Like it is okay not to do that. Um, I'm not saving lives. None of us are saving lives here. It's okay if I miss a day. I mean, I do appreciate that people worry about me if I haven't posted. That makes me feel very loved. Um, but I also have to take care of my family and, myself. So
Yeah.
I have to give myself permission.
Yeah. And I think that definitely comes with age and with maturity to realize that we're not quite as indispensable as we think. And
Right.
that if we say no, the world will not stop spinning on its axis.
Yeah.
The void will be filled by somebody or something else. Um, yeah, things that create visual images for me seem to stick the longest. So I remember years ago reading something about if we ever want to know how truly indispensable we are, all we have to do is stick our hand in a pail of water, pull it out, and the hole that's left is the hole that we will leave.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's like, for instance, a current example would be uh, Kara and BB's September collab. Well, I was flattered to be asked by Kara to participate. And at a different point in my life, I would have said yes. Number one, because saying no isn't easy. And number two, I would benefit from it in some way, in that, connections made, um, karma. I say yes to her, she'll probably say yes to me, and all of those benefits. And then I thought, come on, who are you kidding?
Right.
It's harvest, it's September. How can I don't want to say yes and drop the ball and disappoint somebody.
Right.
Still a type A people pleaser at heart. So I said no, with regret, and said, please invite me to a future collab. But honestly, I'm grateful that I did, because um, I don't think any of us are better when we're pressured to the limit,
Right.
you know? And I think most of us have also felt some health and lifestyle consequences when we overcommit.
For sure. Absolutely. And we all do it. I mean, every single one of us has overcommitted once in our lifetime, or many, many, many times. But
Yeah,
and then you think, how the hell am I going to get out of this one? Like, oh, yeah, should I
yeah,
tell
yeah. Hi, Yvette. Yvette is here. Welcome.
this Yvette?
So Carol is saying balancing family needs has come full circle for her. Empty nest became Songbird's farm. I'm enjoying about one collab a month to keep me creating. Oh, and Trish says she remembers that bucket of water story when she was the only kindergarten teacher at a school. um, yeah, I think it's um honestly kind of a constant struggle, and a mark of our evolution or our self-actualization as people.
Right.
When we figure out the balance, and I don't know that anyone ever does before they drop dead, the proper balance between family, career, or pastimes, and looking after our own soul's needs. So I guess the fact that neither of us have all the answers, either for ourselves or anyone else, is probably not surprising.
You're
We
an
just,
oldest child, right?
yes.
Yeah, me too. I think
Oh,
I think a lot of that comes with being the oldest too.
yeah. Birth order definitely plays a role.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that from my core. Um, so I just wanted to say that I've watched a couple of your videos lately, and I have to say I really love that the one you did with the washi tape, because of course you scored a million rolls of washi tape, so necessity is the mother of invention. But you came up with a really cool idea for using the washi tape. So I intend to steal that idea. Thank you very
And
much.
that's a good example of not having very many tools on the road because I didn't have much.
Yeah. If these locations where you are crafting off site or away from home are your properties, why do you not have a fully equipped room, supply area, studio there?
Okay, so in the well, so when I go stay with Dave, we have an RV. That is his
Okay.
home when he's traveling and dentisting on the road. So I have what should be my clothes closet actually has all of my craft supplies in it. And it's not a lot. It's like I do have a sewing machine in there. Um, but I just have like, those tote things like that are 12 by
Yeah.
12. And
Yeah.
I have a few of those in there. And I have a small closet that has my clothes because I'm like, I have camper clothes and bring like two cute outfits and that's all I need. Um, so I can't there. I mean, he needs his space to actually live. Um, at the duplex, one side is rented right now for like a traveling nurse, so she's there for many months. The other side isn't finished, and so when we do go up there and we're working, we stay at Mo's house, and she does have an art room. So I take that bag and I keep it under there, and then she's got fabric galore. So I mean, there's scraps of fabric to my little heart's content.
I was just thinking that with all the thrifting you do, that you could easily outfit 2 or 3 studio spaces wherever in the world you need them to be, and
Yeah.
could justify some of the purchases. But hey, I do hear you when you say that the less we have access to, the more creative we become. So I totally get that. Um, Now the other thing, oh, Yvette is saying no is an art in itself. So Yvette says, let me just question those. Oh, no, I question. Okay, Trish says yes. I question those no using the pages in her crochet book. I don't know what that means. Um, Yvette is saying I have a full-time job, a part-time job, and my online junk journal shop. I've learned that for me, setting a schedule is crucial. I'm a middle kid, got to do something to stand out in the crowd. Yes, those middle kids, they have their own personalities. Chiquita made a master board with washi. Uh, Vicky's saying, I feel overwhelmed in my gut. Then I reevaluate and say, all in moderation. Mhm. Um, yeah, that's great. And another video I recently watched was the one where you used a fabric ruffle on a paper clip. Now, granted, it was an oversized paper clip, but I'm thinking, well, that's pretty unique too. Like, who doesn't have ruffles? Have you ever tried that same idea with a narrower, like, was it you that said you like doing inch? Or no, that was somebody else. Anyway, have you ever done a narrow ruffle that would fit in those 2 inch, like just the
Yeah,
bigger size?
actually I did that and I did both. I practiced because I was on the road again and all I had was the baby ones. So this one is this one was the big one. Like that's the great big one.
Yeah.
But then this one is just a little one, and this was a ruffle too.
Okay, so that's like the 2-inch
Yeah,
size.
and it
Okay,
worked.
good.
And this is fabric. The other one that I did, I don't think it's in this one. I used I'm addicted to the is it called seam binding? I think it's either called hem tape or seam binding, the ones that looks like lace. Some are called seam
Oh
binding,
yeah.
some are, and I started turning those into ruffles, and they just go through your sewing machine so nice and make beautiful ruffles, and those work really well on those little paper clips.
Ah. Oh,
Hmm.
that's a good idea because honestly, it kind of is not A1 in terms of lace,
Right.
but it would be probably the perfect weight for a lightweight ruffle.
Yep.
Oh, good idea. I think we all have mega miles of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so can I just ask what might be forthcoming? Like what is in your future in terms of your channel or projects, or is it just plugging away at projects you've started? Like
Well,
have you made journals lately?
um, those are all underway. And then my new organized area each has a journal in there. So there's 12. So have I been making journals? Yes. Have I completed a lot of them? Just the ones we did with the playing cards. And I'm okay with that. And that's, and I will answer the rest of your question, but that was one of the things that I had to learn. Because like if I start a project, like I said, I want to see it. I don't want to start it unless I can finish it. So having this project cart, having these things back here and being okay with them not being done and just working on them when the spirit moves me has been a huge game changer for my creativity. So, will I continue? Um, I'm committed to myself to get back on the, um, I don't know if it will be every day, but right now I am so backlogged, and I mean, I'm ashamed to say this, but I just counted today. Um, I have 29 videos that need to have all the details. Now, will have to say that what last week when I was traveling with Dave, I committed 2 days and I actually uploaded every single one of the videos. So now they're just waiting there for me to make them pretty. But with that means that I will only have, I think, for the month of October, about 8 to 10 videos that I have to do for the entire month. That tells
Okay,
you how far I am behind.
let me get this straight. So I thought that you said, like earlier on in the conversation, you said, um, like you use the word editing, and when I, as someone who doesn't do any editing, what I hear is somebody who's cutting out
Oh yeah.
uh, chunks and all of that. But you're meaning more just adding graphics and adding some of the
Well,
like,
I consider editing all of that, and I do have real editing to do. Like I have some that are thrifting videos that you have to chunk them all together, and those take me forever to do because I mean, I I can only do it for so long, and I get burnt out, and I'm like, I gotta take a step back, or technology starts to not work, and then I get frustrated, so I just step
yeah.
away, come back. But full editing, I only have like 5 videos to do, but I say that in that it's okay to do that. And if you have a channel, if it's something you think somebody wants to see, record it. I mean, it's still there. It's in your photos and in your videos. You can do it at any time. What I had to get right with is that um, I didn't need to wake up at 2:30 in the morning and panic about it and then go upload my video, make sure it was there. So I will continue to post consistently. if it's every day, that's great, but I'm not committed to doing 7 days a week. Right now, I just
Yeah.
have a backlog. Um, I do have, um, we do have a collaboration starting in October for the Prairie Girls Gather, which is going to be really fun, with Carol and Jonna. Of course, we're doing the Bible journaling, you and I and the girls. And then in November, I'm going to launch a new collaboration, which I think will be really fun. And it kind of goes back to the sewing pattern things. It's called Haberstashery, where we're just going to use all things related to sewing and haberdashery and use our stash to make things. So that will be November. But other than that, I'm just going to kind of, do the lives, do some craft and chats, continue to do that, collaborate when I can. And I think now, I say this all the time, and you probably do too, and all of you probably watching as well. I'm like, oh, just give me till the kids go back to school. Oh, now, once we have these 2 weddings, then, and
I've
then there's,
never
oh
heard this before.
my gosh. Um, so I'm learning to be a little less, and my kids call me out of it, out on it. They're like, you were so focused on this stuff. And I'm like, I get what you're saying, and so, there's a time when I can be, which is right now. It's why I changed my sales from Thursday to Tuesday, because Dave came home on Thursday. The kids were coming home on Thursday, and they just needed me, and I needed them. So it just wasn't a good day to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But back to your question, I do have, I set goals for myself every single year for, my channel. It's something uh, that I used to teach people to do. So I don't feel like I should be any different. And Dave set a goal for me to reach 20,000 by the end of the year. And I was like, dude, I wasn't even at 10.
Dude.
Dude.
Yeah, dude.
I think I don't know. I don't know what my subscriber account is. Maybe not quite 15,000. So I have another 5,000 to go. So I think that would be absolute joy, but I'm not going to bust my hump to do it. If it happens organically and people enjoy what they're seeing, then they'll subscribe, and I appreciate that. But if I don't make it, I'm also not going to be sad either. So the point
Yeah.
is, I do have goals every year, but if I don't make them, it's not life or death.
Yeah. Okay, so just to circle back to your it was like an organizational video or a studio video where you introduced those drawer units,
Mhm.
and I thought, oh yeah, those are clever, and whatever, you were able to fit a 12 by 12 in there, I think. So that was
Mhm.
good. I think, and maybe you've experienced this already, that I think that the more we can compartmentalize our projects, even if we have 20
Yeah.
things that we're collecting for or whatever, if we have separated them into whatever system works for us, whether they're pouches, envelopes, drawers, those cases, those 12 by 12 cases, or whatever, we automatically become more organized, because the minute we create something, we can then file it away wherever it belongs, based on color or theme or whatever, as opposed to sometimes very arbitrarily making something within the context of a video and then thinking, well, this is kind of an anomaly. Where does this
What am I going to
belong?
do with this?
Yeah, it doesn't logically fit anywhere. So it just seems like, without us consciously being aware of it, we are getting that much closer to finishing these projects, because we're doing it in a very low pressure way.
Right. And I will say everybody's different. Like I am very much, now if you looked at my craft room right now, you wouldn't think so, but I don't like a lot of things on my desk. I don't like a lot of, clutter, because I want to be able to spread out and make, beautiful things. So I like things put away. So those carts that you see behind me are important. But there is a lot of people that they could not function if they couldn't see what was in those things. So that wouldn't
Yes.
work for them. And that's
Yeah.
the point. Like, find what works for you. Um, I have like total recall when it comes to, well, anything. Like, I know where I
Are
put
you
some.
serious?
Oh, well, no, no. I know exactly where I put something in the refrigerator. 6 months ago, I can tell you exactly where I put something. And so, like, when Landon can't find the milk, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I always say to him, if I have to go to that refrigerator and open it up and find the mayonnaise because you can't find it, we just giggle about it. But I like literally when I see something go to where it's supposed to be, I don't forget that. And Dave is the same way. So on the very off chance
I've
that
never heard of this before.
when I lose something, it puts me right over the edge. Like I have a bone. Well, I just found it. I am not even joking. I looked over. I'm like, I've had a bone folder that's been gone for 3 months. It was in a different jar over here. Um, like I can't handle it. I'm like, and you know what I do? I blame my children. I'm like, they must have came in here and borrowed something because I know that it was theirs the other day.
Yeah, it can't possibly be your fault.
No.
Um, that's interesting. Now, I'm just going to address this to Carol. If there's anyone in the chat who would like to, um, well, okay, how would this work actually? If we want to make sure that people's channel names are a clickable link in the chat, how would we do that? Would Carol have to type it in?
I believe,
Angela, do you know?
yeah, I think, or Teresa, because Teresa is also a
Is
mod.
Teresa's doing, yeah, YouTube.
But either one of them should be able to do that, or the person that has the channel should also be able to do it. If you just go to share on your own channel and put it right into the comments, you can do it there as well. I do have to say my mom, Peony Lane, said she just found her beginner crochet book from way back when and invited me to come and crochet with her. But she said, no,
Yeah.
you said you can't tear it up and make it a junk journal.
Well, we do have to draw a line in the sand with some
I,
stuff, that's for
I
sure.
guess. Was she,
I
was
think
she
that
successful?
that there have been people that showing up here that I don't necessarily know. So I like to cut and paste. I'm sorry, I don't know you, but welcome to this heart to heart. Um, and if you could like to tell us your first name, that would be great if you could tell us your first name. Okay, I think, it's at this point that we begin winding down. I wonder if you would just like to, and again, this is something that a person picks up on just by watching your channel and listening. Oh, she's Katie. Hi, Katie. Um, just by listening to your channel, watching your channel, listening to your channel, you have a very close relationship with your mother and your grandmother. You want to just, because, we tend to be a group of women here. Do you want to just say, maybe pay tribute to these women or just enunciate how, your whole feeling about role models or mother-daughter relationships or whatever, because we know that sometimes mothers and daughters are like oil and water. And, two personalities that are probably very similar, butting heads, it can become a standoff. So, have you and your mom and your grandmother always been on the same page? Were you ever a wild child where you rebelled and you were a bad girl? Or has it always been, just a nurturing relationship?
Oh, girl, that's your subliminal way to say, "Come on, Peony Lane, give it up, tell us the deets." Um, no, well, I will say, my Mo, who is my grandma, we have been close all of our lives. In fact, my dad was in Korea during Vietnam and did not get to meet me until I was 6 months old. So I was born while he was overseas. And my mom lived with Mo. So I might have been a little bit, I was also the first grandchild on both sides of the family. Until my brother came along. I know, right? But yes, have I always been close with my
Well,
mom?
that explains a lot of things.
Yeah. Um, yes, I don't know. My mom would probably say I was a wild child. I was actually not bad. But I mean, just like my girls and I, we go toe to toe. My mom and I did too. I think that's natural with moms, but we are all very, very close. And I've said it before that, you know, I say this to everyone that I talk to, that everyone that comes to my channel, that we are all artists. I don't care what it is that you do. Um, there's whatever creative outlet you have, it is your art, right? And
Sorry.
oh no, you're okay. And I think my mom was probably the first to teach me that, is that um it's okay to color outside the lines. And it almost makes me cringe when somebody said, "Oh, did you stay in?" You got the little 5-year-old, and they're like, "Oh, did you stay inside the lines?" Don't, you know,
Yeah.
express yourself. And the other thing is, I think, like, growing up, my dad was very. We had all the animals. I rode horses. You know, he allowed all of that side of the creativity, and for me to learn all of those skills and ride. And my mom was the one saying, because she was creative, so was my grandma. And so she would bring out the paints and all the stuff and,
Yeah.
just let us do whatever we wanted,
Make a mess.
make a mess. I used to make mud pies, and my neighbor friend and I used to get blisters on our thumbs because we take the old corn off after it had been harvested and make decorations in the pies. And
Sorry. That is we're going to have to probably wind this down quickly. That's my husband calling from the field. I
uh-oh.
texted and said, I'm on air. So anyway, sorry to be distracted and to be interrupting.
No, but yeah, just to wrap it up. Yeah,
Essentially, you're saying they have been, in a nutshell, you're saying they have been a force for good in your life.
that very much so. Yes.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Okay, I'm just trying to read this. So I obviously didn't write that. So maybe
That's
Carol
Carol.
did. If you
Mhm.
if you have a YouTube channel and post videos, please go to your channel and use the share button to copy the link and come back here and paste it in a comment so we can follow you.
Right.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think we probably need to, and Yvette is saying, Hazel, I tried that. I think a moderator needs to add us. So clearly this is one of those technology things where it's going to be a work in progress. However, I do want us to get to the point where we are able to promote and make aware, uh, in the chat of people who are, have a channel that we should be aware of. I think I'm going to thank you, Angela, for your time today. Looking forward to some of those things that you've talked about. And I just want to say, for the benefit of everyone who is enjoying this series, that next week is Lori from Enchanted Dreams. So looking forward to that. And then our last interview of September is in fact our first man. So I've had to change my tagline from real women having real conversations or real conversations with real people. So if you need a testosterone fix, just make sure you tune in because Eddie is if he's as witty in person as he seems to be in chats, then I think we're all going to have a treat there. Oh, I'm going to have to read back through these things and see what's what here. So Caroline's saying, yes, fun interview, all of them. It's great to meet you all. And honestly, if somebody has an idea for, you know, what we might be able to do for heart-to-heart alumni at some point in the future, that would be great. I think that would be fun. So far we're at 19 interviews and there's no end in sight. So I want to thank you again, Angela, and thank you to Teresa and to Carol, everyone who's in the chat, and everyone who might be watching at a future time on the replay.
I'm giving kisses to T.
Yeah, yeah, our favorite T. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I better check out and see if there's an emergency in the field.
I know. I can
And
never a dull
okay.
moment.
Okay, good night. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.